Hi, everyone. Josh Rugger, Peyton Langford, and Dan Scoff here. The Weather Authority team locking down the fort right now. We are keeping an eye on a severe thunderstorm
in the
that's
fort,
pushing through the River Valley.
in the fort area. Yeah, well, not necessarily.
Yes,
more,
east of Fort Smith, but in the
East
River
of-
Valley.
In the River Valley.
Yes, which is unbelievable because the models showed all the storms this morning in Northwest Arkansas, but the severe storm ends up in the River Valley.
But we hopped on here, even though it's one storm. Clarksville, be ready. Hail is coming your way.
Yep.
And this hail could be about the size of maybe $50 potentially.
reports.
And
Yep.
it could get even bigger. I mean, we've got a lot of instability to work with along Interstate 40.
Got some $50 reports, and it's just south of I-40 right now. It's crossing Highway 64 just to the east of Coal Hill. So we hopped on here just to let you know. I know there's going to be a lot of questions about Northwest Arkansas. We're done with
Yep.
severe weather potential for today.
Yep.
So we had a window of opportunity. We saw some showers, but it was capped. But this hail is pretty large, where we have $50, and now it's getting up to ping pong size.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't bring up an iDrive camera because they're all looking the wrong ways.
Yeah, I know.
So,
The ones east of the storm were looking east. The ones west of the storm were looking west.
We don't have a visual,
None of them were looking at it.
which I bet this storm just looks insane. And like you said, Dan, when these storms develop in this type of environment, all the cloud cover that we see gets sucked up by the storm because those updrafts are so strong.
we're kind of seeing a little bit of that on Boonville. You can see a little bit of the Anvil, but this storm is in its infant stages, and it's already producing that, already producing $50 size hail. We had reports of $50 size hail.
Yeah. And so this hail core is about to move right over Clarksville. So if you're in Clarksville, be ready.
Yep.
'cause it's
That's why
coming
we launched the stream.
Yep.
So if we want to see what the reflectivity looks like, here's the cell. There's another cell that's southwest of Clarksville, north of Scranton. We may get a cell merger here potentially. We'll see how that interacts.
It's true.
Maybe a nudger. I don't think the tornado potential is great with these cells just because the wind shear is just not favorable. However, there could be localized interactions of cells and storms, but the biggest threat with this is going to be hail, and we're talking about some pretty large hail. It continues to climb and grow more and more, and I think we might even see some golf balls as it's getting closer to Clarksville.
I agree with that.
So be aware, Clarksville, heads up. In fact, I'm gonna do something real quick.
Sir.
Post quick update on this.
Quick update. Yep. So, well, that camera following
Following
you right
me,
there.
huh?
Yes, yes. The man of the hour. So again, there's a severe thunderstorm warning in effect right now.
Yeah.
60-mile-per-hour winds also possible with this storm. Wanted to mention that as well as it moves into Clarksville, but that hail core is lining right up with downtown Clarksville. So it's going to be moving right through the heart of Clarksville. So it's going to get very loud if you're in Clarksville. There's quite a bit of lightning as well. And this could be wind-driven hail as it moves off to the east. So right now, still $50 size hail. We got a new
There's a tornado watch.
Or watch.
Tornado watch.
Ooh.
They did include Washington and Benton County.
Bruh.
Interesting.
Tornado watch.
Tornado watch for the majority of the area.
We'll go through it. We'll go through it here, but let me just post this real fast
Yep.
for Clarksville.
And
What
let's
in
keep
the
an eye on the
world?
storm here too. Yep. So we're watching it very closely. The storm is moving off to the east pretty quickly right now, about 45 miles per hour. Newest update on that storm, according to the National Weather Service, ping pong sized hail, damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour. And this storm again moving off to the east at 45 miles per hour. So this will be impacting Clarksville within the next 3 minutes. So that hail core is about to move right over Clarksville, making sure we have no rotation on that storm. Looks good so far, but we're going to be watching the south very closely. That's producing some heavy rainfall just to the north of Scranton. So, so some folks, guys, are talking about how they got the watch for Benton County through WeatherWise.
Yep.
So here we go. Here we go. So tornado watch in Bella Vista now till 7 p.m. So that's when the watch expires. And I'm sure there's probably going to be more alerts throughout the day as the watch gets chopped
Yeah,
off inevitably.
There's a new mesoscale discovery too, which
was preemptive to that watch.
Yes.
95%. But hail, baseball to grapefruit.
That's insane. That's gorilla hail right there. That's certainly a possibility with the storms. And one thing that we are concerned about as well in the River Valley is additional thunderstorms later this afternoon. But
Clarksville, man,
man,
right in the path of it.
yeah, that storm is taking off.
I don't understand the tornado watch.
I don't know. I don't get
I don't
why they
either.
included our area.
I don't
The
understand.
frontal boundaries already.
But I also don't
Sorting
agree with the
through.
shear. The shear doesn't line up with tornadoes. Now, there could be localized areas. There is a lot of instability. I think a lot of times that they're just looking at these parameters, and there's absolutely no looking at the shear and how it's lining up with tornadoes. Unless it dramatically changes, I don't see the critical angles even remotely favorable.
It'll be 0.
Yeah,
Well,
there's
they're
like
slim.
not much of an angle.
Well, we looked at the.
I
You were just talking about the parameters, right? The composites.
Yeah.
Right, like the
Yeah.
significant tornado composite. We looked at the violent tornado parameter. It was like 11 or 12. It was like off the charts. But like that's all based off of instability.
yeah.
Like
Mhm.
more than half of the equation is based off of Cape. So I don't agree with it whatsoever. I agree with you guys. The low level wind shear is pretty much non-existent.
This needs to be a considerable severe thunderstorm warning, though.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be pretty soon. So, anyways, you got a tornado watch. Yes, there's a tornado watch. We're going to go through that and show you where it is. The deal is this is the National Weather Service out of Tulsa issuing this. And it goes until 7, but it does not go until I just said this too. I said
Yeah.
the watch is going to go out. It'll say till like 7 o'clock or
Yep.
5 o'clock is what I thought. And clearly, as you can tell,
It actually
this
did
is
Sequ-
gonna-
it includes Sequoia County.
this is going to
Didn't
drop
include it.
off here pretty soon.
I mean,
So-
yeah, it's going to be up for like a couple
in about
hours.
30 minutes.
30 minutes. I mean,
chop off the eastern Oklahoma counties.
but then you're probably going to get alert from the Weather Channel or something.
yeah, I was gonna say tornado watch again.
See, here's the
And then
thing
again,
too.
yeah.
You look at the boundary is pushing east. Anything west of this cumulus field, you can forget about it. There won't be tornado potential because the boundary is already coming through. The instability is gone, and look at how fast this is racing eastward now. So the only thing that I could
rising
see,
motion.
oh yeah, you can definitely see the rising motion right here
Yeah.
from this cell. Watch.
Woo, boy.
Take this off. This is the updraft right here.
That's where it had the most sunshine.
Bam.
Out ahead of it.
Explosive thunderstorm development right
Now-
there.
Here is one thing I am concerned about today. I know we're talking about the Northwest Arkansas tornado watch and how that we don't agree with that. But in southern portions of the River Valley, especially towards Scott and Logan County later on this afternoon, I am a little bit more concerned about those storms.
That I agree with. Yeah, we have
Yes.
additional storms popping up. I want to continue to cover Mega Doppler. Here's the storm and at high noon here.
Yep.
You've got Clarksville. Look at the hail increasing in size.
You see that merger too that's ongoing on the southern part of the storm.
1.25 inch hail report
Yep.
in Lamar.
See, here's the thing, Michael, is that originally those you just had your where'd it go? You had this comment right here. We had a little bit of rain. That was the storms that could have developed, but it was capped. Oh, I want 2 panels on that. Yeah, there we go. So it was capped, and that's why you just saw shower activity because they didn't blossom into full-fledged thunderstorms.
Yeah, but here's the deal too about Bentonville, Michael, as well. Once the boundary pushes east, that's it.
yeah.
It doesn't matter how much sunshine we get, within the next hour, this boundary will be east and that's it. It's done.
And I know models don't handle, storm development very well, but there's not a single model that shows thunderstorms this afternoon or evening in Northwest Arkansas.
Yeah, because there's no instability left. It all gets pushed east from the boundary.
Now I think Scott County, Logan County, 5 to 8 o'clock in the evening. That's something we're going to have to watch because there's additional energy swinging in. But I don't know. I have my doubts about that tornado watch for that far west. That just
It doesn't make
Oh
sense.
man, Clarksville is getting pelted right
yeah,
now. Though.
yeah. Okay, let's go to some
They're already getting
iDrives
they're already
here.
getting hail in Lamar.
What?
Half dollar size. Yeah.
Yeah, the radar is old. Don't forget that's an old product. Because it has to do off the volume scan.
Yeah.
So move it over.
So there's that 1.25 inch hail report right there in Lamar. That was reported by Emergency Management.
And that's out ahead of the core.
Yep.
One east of Lamar.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just to let you know too, it's not the Weather Channel that issues the watches. I know that might seem that way because number one, they have a lot of push notifications and stuff like that, but it's the Weather Service that does that. iDrives, we should be able to get them now, even though they're not facing the right way. They're still going to be
Might see the
getting
hail.
slammed. Bring up.
Very small hail.
Which one's that?
That was in Clarksville, exit 57.
Yeah,
There's Lamar,
Yeah.
exit 58.
here we'll bring those up. I'll show you what we're looking at.
Clarksville's not even raining. No, there's some very,
That's-
very small hail. Mostly rain.
Okay, go ahead. So, I-49 south of Clarksville is what we want to see. So there's the iDrive Arkansas camera. Escape and show people where that's at, real quick. So that's exit 58. Go ahead, close that out, and then yeah, go on the other one. The other one will probably have. Do the one farther west of that.
Yeah,
Do the one right there. Yeah, exit 55.
This one looks a little more gloomy.
A little bit more kind of heavy rain.
Yeah.
Maybe some small hail in there.
So I bet you that hail core is still suspended.
Yeah.
We'll take a look here at. You can see on the right hand side, it's coming down pretty good. I bet you the hail core is already east of there.
Yeah.
So we'll go east. Here's a look at High Heating Cooling Mega Doppler. We've got just about close to golf ball size. They had $half size. And that hail core is about to come right over Clarksville. It's not big
Right on
enough
top
for
of it.
destructive. It's not big enough for destructive hail yet. The cell is trying. It's forming.
But you want to see how quick it formed?
Yeah,
Wait,
let's show them
Let's
that.
show them that. So this, let's go back to one page.
Oh, here you go. Someone is in Clarksville right here. Stephanie says dumping in Clarksville, sporadic, small hail.
Look how
Yeah.
quickly this develops, though. I mean, just explosive thunderstorm development.
Yeah, that's pretty quick.
Yes. Breaks that cap really quickly along the I-40 corridor. But Northwest Arkansas, folks are watching in NWA.
We had some showers.
Yep.
They were capped. The cap held. Thunderstorms not developing, and not sure.
It's just struggling.
Yeah.
I mean, even that, no, that's far
The
away.
link is broken until about maybe 5 minutes after the watch is issued, and then you'll be able to see it. But that's still a pretty healthy core that's coming right over Clarksville. There's the hail core now. It's basically centered right over. Now, sometimes this looks like large hail, and it's a lot of small hail, which is what we just got a report on. There should be some strong gusty winds. Stephanie, keep me updated on if that hail gets bigger. I know, I understand, Jessica. I'm confused too. We'll
Same
go
here.
through that, okay? Just let us get through the storm as it goes through Clarksville
You see some,
and
small
and
hail.
Hagerville. So we're
Yeah.
starting to see that small hail.
It's really ramping up. Very
Rather
heavy
than-
rainfall.
and
Look
you
at the
can-
wind.
Same.
Look at the wind.
Yeah, and you can see people hitting their hazards too.
Yep.
Of course, there's nothing north in Bella Vista. There's no storms.
Yeah.
There's nothing.
But here's the deal about these storms that we hammered over the last several days. We said that this would be a high impact, low coverage event.
Mm-hmm.
1 or 2 storms developing in the morning, and then maybe an additional round in southern portions of the River Valley during the afternoon. Nothing more than that. So this is that one storm that developed. It ended up developing in the River Valley,
Yeah,
and the models expected it to develop in Northwest Arkansas. So
a lot more sunshine there,
Yep.
and
The actual hail report was not Lamar. It was just
Oh,
north of Highway 64 in Coal Hill.
that
was
makes a
thinking that was
heck
way-
of a lot
yeah.
more
I was like, I was
sense.
gonna say that was way too far east.
That was way too far
Yeah.
east. Yeah.
That didn't make any sense.
Okay, so I know we got a lot of questions. We'll give you one more look at Mega Doppler. Here's a look at that storm that's basically over Clarksville right now.
Woo.
Keep letting me know what that hail is going to be like. Stephanie, it sounds like we've got someone in Clarksville. That's you. And keep me updated what you're
Reporter.
seeing. And the hail's going to be stopping here within the next 5 minutes. Pretty gusty winds.
Right over Clarksville. We saw that on the camera too.
Yeah.
Wind driven hail. Oh yeah.
It's very heavy rain.
Blinding rain.
Little bit of rotation showing up, but I think it's like broad. But this is a cell that's developing, so it's just on its initial stages of developing. Okay, so now that we showed you that, we're going to zoom out a little wider. There is absolutely nothing in Northwest Arkansas. Now, while that's not uncommon in a tornado watch sometimes, where there's nothing that shows up, nothing popping up, that's because the storms are still capped and they're expected to develop. But today, I don't know. The boundary is moving east. The models aren't really showing storm development. Maybe it happens, but let's go through the tornado watch and we'll tell you what we're showing you. And the reason why we've just looked at this a bunch too.
It's only a part of Washington, Benton County.
I'm stunned that even Washington and Benton counties included
I know.
at all.
And Sequoia.
And Sequoia.
It can't be a part. It's got to be the whole thing, doesn't it?
Well, when they like the actual.
Yeah, I know the actual polygon.
polygon.
Okay, so this is what's officially come out. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, it's not going until 7 o'clock. So
Yeah.
you're hearing this. The reason that it says 7 o'clock is because it's for the entire length of the watch. They need to divide this, I think.
They absolutely
Watches.
do.
They need to have this till like 3, this till like 5, and this
Yeah.
till like 7.
Like different offices can have like a different length for the watch. Or
Yeah.
something like that. I don't know.
So
Something's got to change.
That's what I think. But anyways, there's the tornado watch. Yes, they have included Northwest Arkansas, and the reason for that is the ingredients are there in terms of instability. So if we look at the dew points, you'll notice that we've got some pretty stout dew points, lower 70s, mid 70s. The question is a storm going to develop? Well, you've got to have what's called a cumulus field in order for a storm to develop. And if we look at this high resolution visible satellite, this shows you there is absolutely no Q field as it makes its way farther west into basically Sequoia, Adair County, Delaware County. A little bit of a cumulus field, and maybe a storm rapidly develops, but I don't really see it.
Yeah, there's a stout cap in place.
There is a stout cap. Now, we could get some more daytime heating, and it could lead to additional storms. Which there we got a dime size hail report in Clarksville on 292. Pea size hail. So just had some small pea size hail, heavy
That's all
rain
I'm
in
seeing on
Clarksville.
the
Yep.
cameras.
All right.
I might click on that tab real quick just to see what the. So it's still upper 70s to right around 80 degrees in Northwest Arkansas. It hasn't gone up any
No.
at all.
And so you can see that energy moving through. Now, when we look at, and I know models are not great. I know they're not great. And because here's an example. This is what it shows right now, which is clearly not the case. It doesn't even have the storm in Clarksville. It
That's
does
so bad.
determine that there will be one storm, but it doesn't know where to put it. Do you see this is why we don't say, hey, what about Jasper? What about Clarksville? What about Russellville? We don't tell you individual cities because we know it's not going to be right.
Especially with an event like this, because this is not like, a line of storms pushing through the area.
No.
Where everybody's going to get rain. These are just little isolated and scattered showers and storms that pop up randomly in certain places. And it's these little subtle forcing, the little subtle pieces of energy that move in that cause the lift for these storms to develop. So it's
Yeah.
impossible.
So there you go, right there. That's why we can't tell you, and especially when people ask 3 or 4 days out, if an
Oh.
individual city is going to get
Oh,
impacted,
not even close.
we can't do it.
They can't
But-
even get what's going on now right.
But that's what's supposed to be happening. This is what is happening.
Reality.
I think there's a little bit of a difference there between expectations and
Really?
reality. Yeah.
It's like Thanos. Reality is often disappointing.
All right. So now we'll go back to this. So we just got a comment here saying that they dropped off the tornado watch already for
That is
Washington and Benton
hilarious.
County.
That would be so funny.
Here's a look at, anyways, Here's the activity moving east. Now, here's what I do think we have to watch. And this is what I believe. If you're in the River Valley, you need to be paying attention. Scott, Logan, Johnson County, 5, 6, 7, 8 o'clock tonight. That's going to be the initial onset of what's going to be the moderate risk, the major severe weather.
Notice the temperatures in the river.
The models
Valley,
can't
too.
even get what's going on now.
True,
Right?
true. So, but I do believe that though. I'm not even looking at the models. I'm just basically saying meteorologically what I think
But,
is going to happen.
You know, when you're looking at that model, you notice the temperatures in the River Valley this afternoon. We get a lot more daytime heating, upper 80s to lower 90s. That allows that cap to erode, and that allows those additional thunderstorms to develop. We will have to watch those very closely
Case in point, it's back to sunny in
Nah.
Boonville.
immediately.
Yeah, you
Exactly.
see the overshooting top off in the distance.
Oh, that is a nice camera.
Nope, Michael, not correct. Says looks like 4 counties got dropped. Newest update just came out. Nope, because here's the update right here.
Severe
And by the way,
thunderstorm
new
warning.
severe thunderstorm warning, and this is obviously for this cell, and it's for $half size hail. But so far, this storm is not really producing that hail potential as much. It's producing hail.
The giant hail.
It's just not giant hail, but the storm will get organized. It's just in its infant stages, and so that's going to be headed up towards Blaze country. Yeah.
Blaze country.
So there you see Hagerville, Clarksville, Knoxville. That cell is dropped off its hail core a little bit.
Seems like the hail core has gotten bigger.
So why did that watch get issued? Well, let's go back here. Let's look. So here's the watch. It says until 7. It's not going to be till 7. Here is a look at, this is one thing I wanted to show you. So this is, even though the model doesn't get this right, watch the instability start to race eastward. Look at that. So by 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, the instability's gone. Then it develops some isolated storms in the River Valley, but the instability is gone.
I think the
And-
I-30 corridor is what needs to be watched.
Yeah. And then on top of that, it doesn't show any storm development. So this is a very conditional tornado watch. Hail in Clarksville.
You know, one thing we didn't look at was the probabilities on that tornado watch. Either I haven't been able to look at that yet.
Probability of
Tornadoes, hail, wind on the watch.
I don't know.
moderate, severe hail, high.
Because you have to remember this
It's for
includes
the entire
this
extent.
includes the entire extent of the watch. Here, we'll show you what we're looking at.
But that just makes it all the more confusing. There should have been 2 separate watches. I mean, because the watch here in Northwest Arkansas is, in terms of the parameter space and the amount of low-level wind shear, it's much different in Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley compared to Missouri and
Yeah,
Illinois.
it is. It is.
So it should have been 2 separate watches, in my opinion. If you're
Yep.
going to issue one for Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley.
make it a lot less short fused.
Yes.
But
And lower the tornado and EF2 potential.
I just the window of opportunity is very, 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 very small. It is
Highly conditional.
It is humid, but look, you can see the cumulus field just racing east.
A lot of those clouds have died. Look at that.
Here comes a short wave. You can see the short wave
Look
coming
how
in.
sunny it is now. Like
know.
all the clouds are just dissipating.
Instantly.
But sunny with a boundary is not the same as sunny with a bunch of moisture and instability. But here comes that short wave.
Well, once that boundary moves through, the dew point's going to drop back off into the 50s again in Northwest Arkansas.
Yeah, let's show
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
This is where your severe weather risk comes to a screeching halt, is when the dew points drop, which is exactly what's going to happen here. So we'll look at right here. Here's the instability with the shear. Not the shear, just with the dew points as this climbs up. So right now we got a dew point, but watch it. Look at that. Boom, kicks east, dries out. That's the end of the severe weather risk. So
Man, I'll tell you, if you're going to Baumwalker Stadium or to the softball game, it's going to feel great out there.
yeah, it is.
Mm.
It'll feel a lot better.
Yes.
So the games this afternoon and evening, Razorback baseball, Razorback softball for that regional.
Yeah.
We're good to go.
Big time difference in the weather from now, which a lot of people are saying it is extremely warm and humid, and it is absolutely. Heat index values are up there.
But you know what's crazy? The ebbs and flows of today, because I was up at around 1:30. I stepped outside of Bella Vista. I'm like, I need my jacket. It's crispy out here. It's
I know.
like 55
Yeah.
degrees. Dew point's 51. It feels good. Then you step outside right now. It feels warm and muggy. And then later on this afternoon, those dew points are going to drop off dramatically once again. And it'll be that way overnight tonight to early tomorrow morning
Yeah.
before that boundary lifts back to the north again Saturday evening.
So there's a look at the latest hail core. It's approaching Pope County, which is out of our weather coverage area. However, Hagerville, a little bit of hail up to the size of quarters, which is severe. And so, yeah, exactly. Brooklyn has it right here. A storm could develop, and it could be real quick. But I think that window of opportunity is closing pretty fast.
Yeah, very fast.
I think, and remember, tornadoes can happen when you have a clear blue sky because it's a watch. It's not a tornado warning. A watch means that conditions are favorable for tornadoes. A warning means that you have a storm that's rotating strong enough to prompt tornado potential or one spotted. But look at the heat index values here, 84 and whoa, look at what it's like in Sallisaw and Fort Smith. So a lot more fuel for those thunderstorms in the river valley. And this is what I wanted to, we already showed the Cape. We already showed that. I don't,
What's that?
Sector?
boundary
let's show this. No, that's going to just look ridiculous. Here
don't
is
think I
the
like that.
future track model. Once again, not doing a great job on the storms. But look, it doesn't develop anything in Northwest Arkansas, but it does develop that storm in the river valley around 5, 6 o'clock in the evening. Here's the 4-kilometer graph. No storms in Northwest Arkansas, but it does develop them in the river valley. Here's the latest hourly.
Get that out of here.
That's trash.
Goodbye. You. You're out of here.
And then here's the latest HRRR hourly. Gone. That's trash too. Get rid of that. Here's the HRRR at noon. That's what it shows. Not terrible. Not terrible. Let's see if it develops additional storms. Nope. Nothing in Northwest Arkansas because the boundary moves through. And then, well, let's look at the 3-kilometer. Those are all the high resolution models. All the high resolution models. And guess what? Even this one that goes overboard, it doesn't develop storms. So, yes, the tornado watch has been issued for Northwest Arkansas, but it's not going to last. And I'd be surprised if we see a single storm, to be honest with you, in the Northwest Arkansas area. I really would be surprised if we see anything.
Just doesn't seem like this is going to break the cap.
If it
Which is-
does, the storms can pop up pretty rapidly, but there's the latest. Notice how Springfield didn't include it in Southwest Missouri, Berry and McDonald County.
Those storms are taking off in central Missouri right now.
Yeah.
We saw that on radar too. That is explosive development.
And we can look at that too.
Yes.
Let's look at that. Let's do that. IR mesosector 2. This will just take a little while to load. Clarksville could be a different story, but I think the storms are going to be a little bit east of there, honestly,
Yeah.
Clarksville. I think they'll be a little east of Clarksville. Now, obviously not right now, but this is what happened earlier. So watch these storms as the upper level support. See, you can see we had our window of opportunity already for storms. They didn't pop. They didn't develop. Look, it tried. Boy, it tried really hard. That's why there were showers. But that cell that was over Fayetteville collapsed and got choked off. And I will give credit to the models recently because they did start to do that.
Yes, they kind of had these showers like ebbing and flowing as they moved through Northwest Arkansas, but you never saw one of those updraft helicity tracks that show stronger updrafts.
Yeah.
That's a sign that it's kind of falling apart. It's capped. But man,
Now this one, look at that. You can see those reds and oranges. Those are colder cloud tops.
Yep.
So you can see that's pretty impressive storm right there. And then here's the other ones, but this one's really taking off out of all of them.
Yeah,
You can
absolutely.
see that.
But about to move out of our weather coverage area,
Yep.
and that'll be that. It'll cause problems in northeast Arkansas and eastern Missouri. That is for sure.
I think this watch will not verify for Northwest Arkansas. I'd be surprised if it does. I'm not saying it can't, but I don't think it will. Here's the very latest risk, and you'll notice that that risk basically shifted west a little bit. But yeah, get all that off of there. I think we're going to be focused on this area right here.
I absolutely agree.
Don't acknowledge it.
All right. So there's a look at, anyways, that activity. So we'll go back to our Ohio Heating and Cooling Mega Doppler. Hagerville, the core is moving out. Pope County, not in our weather coverage area anymore. No more storms in Mountain Home. Now that's going to be a different story. That's farther east. We're talking about Benton and Washington County. No, that's a ways farther east. You're not done yet in Mountain Home.
You might be under the gun.
Yep. Storms are possible in the Mountain Home area.
Man. Looks like
Well,
there's
thanks
two
for all the hail reports. I appreciate that.
National Weather Service does too.
It's true, William. The ingredients are there, but not when you see the boundaries starting to move out. Oh, you can see that updraft now.
Yeah, you've been able to see it for a minute.
Let's
You can
see.
even see the overshooting top earlier, but now it's like kind of
Boonville, yep. There's the storm. Finally got a view looking east.
beautiful storm. Look how it just cleared out in Boonville, though.
That's what I was talking
Yeah.
about with that, when those cells just kind of
Like a vacuum.
get rid of all the clouds. Yep. So will storms develop in Northwest Arkansas? That's the big question. I just want to say I'm not buying it. Not buying it. Now the ingredients are there currently, but it's not going to last here within the next couple hours.
Thinking 2 hours, you can just
That's
get
the
everything
end
off
of
the
it.
books.
Yep. What was the discussion on the tornado watch? Well, there obviously the watch goes all the way east, so
Doesn't matter. Irrelevant for us.
Irrelevant for us. I mean, for Central Missouri, it's not irrelevant, but that's
Yeah.
where the better parameters are. And that's where the storms are going to start taking off. Does that say 2-inch hail on the radar?
it does.
It does.
It does now.
2.06
So we're getting larger.
inches hail. Wow.
South of Hagerville. Anybody south of Hagerville in
That is not
western
co-located.
Pope County?
That is not at all.
What is? Well, the hail core isn't co-located because that's a bounded weak echo region. So you got the bounded weak echo region where the hail core is located, and the co-location because that's probably a giant overhang on the hail. Watch. Let's get one panel here, and let's take a look at that. Bring up that is a big storm.
That's so healthy now.
Watch this. You're going to see the bounded weak echo region here shortly. So there's your overhang right there. So that's where your giant hail is. Well, not giant,
But it's
large hail.
dumping hail there.
Once we get into whites here, which I don't think is showing up yet. Nope. Once we get into white reflectivity, you know this storm's producing some large hail.
Got a lot of instability to work with. Some areas have over 5,000.
The rotation's not great, but it is going to produce some pretty strong winds.
Oh, it's considerable now.
Percentage for Northwest Arkansas storm development, I'm going to say 10%.
The new warning is considerable.
Yeah,
Is it? Okay, good.
2-inch hail.
I would go with 10% too.
10%.
Yeah,
10% what?
of storm
Of
development.
storm
in Northwest
development in
Arkansas.
Northwest
Oh, yeah.
Arkansas.
Yeah.
That watch will be canceled by 2 or 3 o'clock.
Man,
For,
Porsches
for,
are good.
for I-49.
Yeah,
For I-49.
Yeah.
Because look, now you can see the boundary moving through even more.
it's moving out quick.
There's
And
the new considerable.
there's
one.
just nothing. We'll show you the considerable warning here in a second. Did it pop up on here?
I didn't even see it pop up.
I
on there.
didn't. But anyways, where there's no clouds and there's no instability and there's no moisture, there won't be any storms, and that's already starting to move out. You got to look at the cumulus field.
Severe to the north and to the south of Bend and Washington.
Yep.
It's
Like
unbelievable.
the east, it just misses those top two rows.
So back to this, I want to show you the considerable warning.
Funny how that works.
It's trash.
Here it is. Considerable 2-inch hail, which is hen egg size, and 60 miles per hour winds.
Ooh, we got some pink showing up now. 2.27 inch.
So it's
hail.
getting bigger.
Wow.
It's moving quick too.
This is that very large hail potential that's starting to get realized, but thankfully it's moving out of our area.
See, this is a good question here because someone's asking about the sun breaking out, and typically we say, yeah, when the sun breaks out, watch out, because if you look, the sun is breaking out at Bentonville and at the Graduate Hotel. You can see Kessler, you can see Mount Sequoia. Yeah, but look at the cumulus field. It's not super vertically developed. So let's look at Rogers here, Pinnacle Parkway Towers. That is not a
That's
cumulus field that's evident of thunderstorm development.
And that's
And
yeah.
look at Posey Mountain, and nothing there. So
In a few hours, there'll probably be even less clouds once that cold front pushes through
And
and sinking air behind that.
yeah, and so that's the thing. It's not just it's about sunshine when you have the parameters and you have the instability. You'll start to feel the humidity drop off when
Yeah.
that front comes through. Look, we'll show you the boundary here. And the boundary is coming through and I get it. I know why they did it. They did it for a precautionary measure, but look at that. You've
Wow.
got southwesterly winds, northwesterly winds in Tulsa. So the boundary is pushing through. Yeah, no, that's a big storm.
Yeah, it's starting to really take off.
I think the top's probably near 50,000 feet.
Bright and sunny in Bentonville, but also about to see lower dew points.
There was some white.
Look at you can see the lower dew points starting to show up in eastern Delaware. That's the front that's about to
Ignore
come through.
Springdale.
Yeah.
There was
79.
some white.
Look at Tulsa's dew point, 54. So that's about to come this way.
That's the actual hailstone.
We've got white. We've got white.
All right, we'll show you that here in just a bit. So yeah, bright and sunny, but we're about to see that drop in humidity. So a lot of people asking about the baseball game, softball game. I personally think they're going to be amazing.
It's
The
going to be
weather's
great.
going to be great.
Now, will the baseball be good on the field? That's a different question. I think softball's going to crush it for sure.
Yeah.
But
Baseball.
baseball, I don't know. I have my doubts.
Basketball.
Just
You got some Helios clouds.
don't look
Man.
motivated.
Yeah.
Helios clouds.
But I will say this: we're not done with the severe weather risk. So we have later on this afternoon, evening. We've got that's going to be in the River Valley. That's in the River Valley and the Southern River Valley too.
Yes.
Saturday night, you're going to have to be watching the weather closely. Saturday night's going to be trouble. Is the Alison Krauss concert tonight or tomorrow night?
Oh, that's a good question.
That was tonight.
Lisa,
Probably
let me know.
tonight.
If it's tonight,
You're
you're
good.
golden. You're going to love it.
Tomorrow.
In fact, you're like, it's so humid. I'm going to be steamy and sticky. And it's like, nope.
Nope.
Humidity is going to be dropping.
It's going to be a little perfect night.
Dan, Joe Boonville. Get the Helios
Oh, it is
clouds.
tonight.
It was overshooting.
I will.
The storm was still blossoming.
Yeah. Look at that.
Punching.
That is beautiful.
Punching upwards.
That is a big time storm.
Man.
And before, those clouds were there, you could see the overshooting top, but it's still
Yeah.
punching through. So, it's pretty
Let's show
noticeable.
that cell now again on radar. And considerable severe thunderstorm warning for Polk County. and east. It's probably should move out of Johnson County.
Yeah.
But- Yeah, there you go.
Man, what a storm.
North of Dover. I bet you Brian Empfinger's on that. I just have a feeling that's
All
where he
over.
used to live.
But look at that, nothing in Northwest Arkansas.
Yep.
Again,
Golfing weather.
that's what I'm going to be doing. I got a lesson at 4 p.m.
Nice.
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah, he changed his password, so I can't look at it.
And so the tornado watch is going to basically end here shortly for Northwest Arkansas. I know it's sunny, but the humidity is going to be dropping. The window of opportunity is closing, and this system's about to move out. Now, I'll tell you who's not in the clear, not even close, is going to be, first of all, this Northeast Arkansas, because all those cells will have a lot of time to mature, and there will be more energy swinging in, and there will be a row of supercells that basically tracks and then forms into a giant cluster, and also QLCS. There's
Oh.
Paducah, Nashville. You can see some storm activity that's going to be in Tennessee. So that's a very large, moderate risk of severe weather.
Show the wind.
Yeah, I will. I'll show all the parameters here. Here's the tornado parameter.
You know who's about to get rocked? Wyatt Puck,
Yeah, I
Yeah,
know.
Wyatt's in
I know.
Western Kentucky.
smack dab in the middle of it.
Mm-hmm.
Woo!
Then you've got the wind risk.
Oh, man. Hey,
It's
what do you guys think
hatched
about the
for us.
derecho potential on that?
Here,
No, there.
it's got to form into that. I don't know. It's kind of
It's gonna
more,
go a long way.
Yeah,
Yeah, it'll be
more-
close. Definitely
It'll be
a
close.
Long.
linear
Chugging
though.
line
The
of
orientation of the line, northeast to southwest,
Yeah.
that doesn't favor derecho unless it over time.
Over
maybe.
time.
Yeah, maybe it'll do that over time. But
Yeah.
here is the hail risk, and you can see that there's one cell and it's produced a lot of hail, but that's it. That's just one cell. Here's the day 2 for Saturday. That's changed a
That's
lot.
increased.
That's over us.
Gone way
Whole
north.
area now.
The large hail potential makes it all the way into Fayetteville now. So this is new. This is actually probably hot off the press. So
Yeah.
this is for Saturday night. So Saturday, most of the day will be fine, but Saturday night we've got storms. Here is the wind risk, and the tornado risk will probably be 2%. Yep.
But that actually is a bump up because earlier this morning it was only in southern Florida. So
That's-
Scott
yeah,
County.
I saw that.
I
yep.
knew that was going to go farther north.
The day 3 outlook is an enhanced in Kansas.
Oh baby.
Oh, baby. Oh, baby.
Is that where you guys are going?
I think that's where we're going to be going.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And then you can see the hatched area for Wichita.
Tornado potential right there.
Yep.
Chase
Although-
convergence potential.
Although
Yes.
Oklahoma Magic along the dry line, isolated cells.
It's hard, it's
I
hard.
know.
We'll
yeah,
post up in
watch that.
Wakita and then
But
play our cards.
You know why I want to go to Kansas? Triple point magic.
Yeah.
baby. Triple point magic.
Yeah.
And then we've got a day 4 and day 5. And
It just keep going.
Yeah. Well, it stops after 5, right?
It stops after 5.
Yeah. Yep.
Finally, there is an end in sight.
So Harrison is a little bit farther east. Michaela, we will have to watch that area, but I think Benton and Washington County we're done.
Business casual.
Well, that's why I thought I'd be going out in the field, looking at severe hail damage.
But the cap held.
Cap held.
Cap held.
No cap. All cap. Oops. All cap.
all
as they
cap.
say.
There's a hail core approaching north of Hector, though. Pretty good
Couldn't
size.
find it, but I'm gonna be honest.
I do. I have it. I'll say
There's
it.
the considerable now severe thunderstorm warning as it makes its way eastward. Yeah, we're about to dry out real soon. In fact,
That
let's
boundary
show
is
you
crazy.
here. Grab it.
Sunshine.
Look at
Sunshine.
that. That's fair weather. cumulus.
That is fair
That's
weather.
fair weather
cumulus.
cumulus.
Yep. So we're getting some
Great stuff.
questions, Peyton, about you.
Oh,
The
boy.
cat is out of the bag here.
Yep.
All right, so let's inform everyone what's going on, Peyton.
Oh, great. Putting the spotlight on me.
Yeah,
Well,
right.
everybody's talking.
Yes, exactly. Man.
Yeah.
You're going to Kansas.
On Sunday,
On Sunday.
I'm going to Kansas, likely
Yes.
Wichita.
Yes.
But after June 4th, I will no longer be at KNWA. I'll be going back home to Houston. be with my girlfriend after doing long distance for 2 years. Really been a strain.
Yeah.
I'll be closer to my family who's still in Houston. I'll be closer to her family, who are still in the Round Rock area for now. But yeah, that's it. I don't do Dubai's.
And what are you doing? What are you doing
Well,
for work? Or
for
can you share
work?
that?
Yeah, I will not be in TV.
Uh-huh.
I will be doing a property adjusting.
So,
Insurance
yeah,
adjuster.
insurance stuff.
Yep.
But that
That'd
means
be
you got more
cool.
time to storm chase too.
But that means I will be having more time to storm chase. I will be in
Spending more
hard hit
time with
hurricane
Megan.
areas.
Yep,
Yeah.
spend more time with them.
So still out there, getting to know people's experience through the storm and helping them out there. Hopefully, maybe try to tell their stories on the side and do I don't know, weather thing.
Yeah.
That's the plan.
But look at that. See, there's a spotlight right there.
I
Bam.
did not
Cameras.
do that.
Cameras on the man of the hour right here.
Speaking of bam, you can see
Bam.
the overshooting top. Just barely. You can see the overshooting top above the anvil, just underneath that power line. See it right there?
Yep.
That's pretty awesome.
Whew.
So here's a question right here that popped up. Taylor's like, when you say the weather app on our phone, just try to cover their BUTTSs. Well, remember the watch does go until
Get it off.
yeah, let's see here.
Give me here.
Hey. Are you gonna go? Nope.
Wow.
All right,
Peyton, it's
stop
all
following
you.
me.
Man of
Now
the
go
hour.
over there.
It's
Go over
all
there.
you.
That's,
Did it stop?
there it goes. Now it's done.
Okay. So the watch does go until 7 o'clock officially, but here's the confusing part of these tornado watches. That basically is the far east and northeastern extent. So if we were to divide this tornado watch up, let's do that here. We'll just basically divide it up. So this is until probably, I'm going to say 2 p.m. What do you think?
I would say, yeah, until like 2 p.m.
Until 2?
Yeah.
I mean, I just say cancel now, but
Yeah, until
But-
2 here on the left of that line. And then you got until 4 to the right of that line. And then you got until like 6,
in like
Yeah, and then probably this will get extended after 7 p.m., but you can see more storms popping up.
would you say maybe the watch stays in place for Scott and Logan County a little bit longer?
I think there could be a new watch that gets
Yeah.
issued
Mhm.
that will cover more of Little Rock,
Yeah.
and it's going to be farther south.
And
So
then once they have that watch, that'll include pretty much all of Northeast Arkansas, Northwest Tennessee,
Yep.
Paducah,
Man,
and all through that. So
you look
they'll
at
have
that,
another watch kind
Yep.
of redrawn.
this hail is getting even bigger.
this
now.
hail is massive.
Holy cow.
This
2.37
hail
inches.
is massive.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's over hen egg size. So yeah, okay, cool. Taylor said that makes sense. So cool. Wow, it got even bigger and bigger.
2.63.
Yep.
Oh man, it's getting close to gorilla, guys.
Gorilla.
Gorilla sized. Oh man.
Let's see what that cell looks like in the volumetric.
Yeah.
And look, it's just one cell. That's it. Just one cell. Man, what a beast.
That is beast mode activated.
Wind's picking up in Rogers and it's about to dry out.
That's that front approaching.
Yep.
Whoa, look at that.
Jeez.
That damn, look at that.
I know, that is a massive updraft.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Now thankfully the storm is pretty elevated still. I think that will be changing
Yeah.
when it gets farther. north.
One gorilla versus 100 severe thunderstorms.
What one gorilla versus 100 men? Or
Yeah.
one gorilla hailstone versus 100 men.
Who would win?
I'm going with the hailstone.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you get to gorilla size.
It would just be like
Just don't
bouncing
take you
off
out.
of
Yeah,
everyone.
boom, boom, boom,
Just
boom,
take
boom.
off of everyone.
Exactly.
All right. So I think that just about wraps it up. That storm is moving out. It's out of our weather coverage area. It's completely out of Johnson County. If there's anybody in Pope County that really wants to continue on that storm, let us know. Speak now or forever hold your peace. But I just don't think we see a whole lot of development tonight. I don't don't know. I just don't.
Barry's got a good point. Do not park under the overpass.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I already made a video about that.
Don't even
Still
get us
isn't
started.
good.
Don't get me started. Ooh.
Yeah.
So the mesoscale features of this thunderstorm environment are so small that the HRRR can't pick up on it either. This is the newest one because it doesn't even have that cell popping up north. And then
Whoa, that's more development though. Scott County.
Classic.
5 o'clock. So we probably will be watching that area very, very closely this evening. So now then remember that is like Scott County, Logan County, southern Sebastian County, southern tip of our weather coverage area. I do think there's going to be some issues there.
I agree 100%. And maybe a little bit more low level wind shear to work with too.
Yeah.
So that'll be something to watch. Cell interactions.
I've been hit in the head with quarter size hail. It did not feel good.
Yeah.
Um,
You don't want to imagine anything bigger.
Pope County here. All right.
All right.
Della's in
Nice.
Pope. All right. So go back to Mega Doppler here.
Yep. Where are you located in Polk County?
Yeah, whereabouts in Polk County? Because this is some no
Ooh.
tornado potential. but
3.26. We're to gorilla territory, boys.
CD size hail.
We are in the jungle now.
CD sized hail.
We are
My
in the
goodness.
jungle. Yes, sir.
Get
Teacup.
copyrighted.
King Kong is roaring.
Ashley, we can briefly summarize. Nothing's happening in Northwest Arkansas. Fair weather cumulus clouds here. Humidity is high now, but it'll drop off. It'll disappear.
Eat
It'll be
lunch
gone this
outside.
afternoon and
Yeah.
evening. You'll feel a lot better as the dry line and the cold front pushes through, and then that's going to be it. Let's go back to that storm. So, but that's not it for the rest of the for the time.
4 inches.
Potentially. I
Okay.
wonder. I wonder
Potentially.
what's
I want-
actually making it to the ground.
Guess
Yeah.
what? Guess what? White is going to show up now on the volumetric. Go ahead and
70
get to it
dBz.
while you're doing
Oh,
that. Yep, you
hopeless.
could go ahead and do that
Okay,
on the
yep,
volumetric.
yep.
That thing might go destructive.
It'll be on there. I promise. There it
There it
is.
is, right there.
It's
Oh,
forming aloft. It's forming aloft.
Holy cow, this could be destructive.
Yep. I think it will get a destructive category.
And this is what we were kind of talking about. What could be over Northwest Arkansas?
yeah.
And I had stressed heavily in the newscast yesterday. It could be anywhere from Springfield to Interstate 40, and look where it ended up: south of Springfield and north of Interstate 40. That's
Yep.
where we're seeing the severe weather.
Dude, 4.8 inches.
Dude,
Estimate. That's estimated
That
by
thing is going
radar.
off the rails.
This is what we're talking about with explosive thunderstorm development. This went from 2-inch hail to maybe a 4-inch hail in like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
That is massive. So let me show you this here. This is cool. If we go back to this, you can actually see it's not hitting the ground yet. So anybody
Right.
that's north of Hector is not getting this yet, but they're about to, as you'll be able to see this hail core coming down.
It's
So
starting to
watch.
descend a little bit.
So what happens with these really large hailstones is that they develop about 30,000 feet up in the air, and then they start coming down. Now here you can see them just starting to develop. Watch within the next couple of radar scans, you'll start to see that come down.
Yep.
So what's happening is the updraft, the winds that are going up are suspending these balls of ice that are about a pound
Yeah.
essentially, and it's holding them up in the air. Think about taking I do it all the time with a ping pong ball and a blow dryer. The ping pong ball floats because the air is basically fighting gravity and it's fast enough where it'll stay suspended. That's what's happening with these hailstones,
And then you keep cranking it up more.
which
you
are
can-
massive.
You,
Yep.
you can get bigger things.
And
You
if you
can-
start to tilt the updraft too, eventually it'll start falling out.
Here it goes. It's about to fall. So let's look here.
That is one impressive.
That should
supercell.
probably be destructive. So we're going to get a
Yep.
destructive tag here on this storm pretty quickly.
This is well out of our area.
Yep. This
Now,
is, by
but-
the way, this is our weather coverage area is Johnson County, Pope County, Little Rock coverage, which is Russellville. But this storm is thankfully north of Russellville. So there it is, destructive, baseball size hail.
My goodness. Beast mode.
And I think it'll be even bigger than that, honestly.
I think so too. Over 3 inches. It's got to be over 3
If
inches.
anybody lives in between Hector and Smyrna,
Let us know what size hail. is
yeah, let
falling.
us know if you're in Pope County. But there's the destructive tag.
Wow.
Let's see if I can do something real quick, Josh.
Yep. Hold on one second. Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't really. It doesn't work. I know it's hard. I know that's why we don't move it over. It's not rotating. I mean, yes, it's the storm has a mesocyclone, but as far as low level rotation, no.
It's non-existent.
Nope. Now, next image is coming out. Next volume scan, we'll probably see that gray start to lower, or maybe it's still suspended in the air. And so people that are in there, they may not be getting a whole lot of even rain, to be honest with you, if they're in underneath the hail core.
Yeah.
That's what happens with these giant hail cores is you get very little rain, and then all of a sudden these hailstones start falling.
And it's like mortars
Yeah.
too when they're falling. It's like, boom.
Oh, did you close it?
He's on now. He's on.
It's on weather one. You need to go back.
No, but what I was asking
Oh.
is, oh, my goodness, that's a high DBZ.
We need to get a scan on that baby.
Wow.
We've officially reached 70 dBz.
Don't close that volumetric. We'll lose
It's not
that.
closed.
But yeah, it is.
What?
Yeah, there is no.
I didn't close it.
Oh. There it is. Look, here it comes. See it? I've seen this before. So there it is starting. There it is forming. And it's just
Starting to
about
fall.
it's just about ready to hit the ground.
Man.
That is going to be
Is there black colors by chance in there? I mean-
I've never seen it.
Never seen
No, it'll disappear.
it.
Watch. Well, hold on though. The reason it maybe disappear because it's black on black. No,
Yeah. No black colors.
nope.
What would that be like? Next level?
I never seen black. I've
Yeah.
always wondered if black would be in
Because
there.
it
Here's
goes
black.
black and then even gray.
But what's weird is it's black, white, and then gray.
Yeah.
I don't know why that's backwards. But anyways, here it comes. You can see that hail core coming down. So they're about to get some massive hail. I know. We've mentioned this multiple times. The watch for Rogers,
Wind gusts
it's going to be gone
could be up to
very,
80
very
miles
soon.
per hour,
Yeah.
42,000 feet.
Oh, Della, where are you at? Where do you live? Where do you live? And by the way, if you just got the destructive tag warning on your phone, that's pretty late. That's not good.
Yeah, I know.
It's time for weather call next year.
Yeah. All right, Della, let me know where you're at, please, because I think this hail core is about to come down real soon.
That's big time.
It's a big time storm.
It's like something you see out like a cap.
See,
rock.
this could have happened over Northwest Arkansas.
Yeah.
But it didn't because we were capped.
Thank goodness.
Mm-hmm.
My goodness. Can you imagine a storm like this going through downtown Bentonville? I mean, that's
Yeah.
a
At,
ton of
at
damage.
1, 2 o'clock.
Yeah, ton of damage.
It's a good question, Tommy. They're doing it for precautionary measures because the boundary hasn't quite pushed through yet, but it will be pushing out real soon. Della, let us know where you're at because here's what I'm going to do. We're going to put on this hail core, and
It's dropped off significantly.
Maybe dumping it.
that's
somewhere.
because it's dumping
Dumping.
it.
It's dumping that thing.
Yep. Dove
Dumping that
close
thing.
to Hector, or Dover close to Hector. Okay.
At least baseball-sized hail from the National Weather Service. That word.
Oh well, if you're in Dover, it's east of you. So you're
Yeah.
done.
You're fine.
Yep.
You dodged it.
I don't know why you got a notification that you're in the tag.
Well,
Oh, maybe for
probably.
the county, for the whole county.
Yeah, I
County
bet you the
warnings.
county.
This is why weather call is built different. Only lets you know if you are in the polygon.
Nope, nothing. Nothing today. Nothing throughout the rest of the day. Even though there's a tornado watch, the cap's not breaking, and you've got fair weather cumulus clouds. Look at this.
That's what it is.
Fair weather.
That's what you see on a nice summer day.
That is not going to be storm development right
It's not.
there.
Whoa! Whoa!
DBZ is current.
This is unbelievable.
Dude, this is like a cap rock storm. And it's like out in Texas Panhandle.
Here's what I want to do real quick. I want to see if there's a 3-body scatter spike on this thing. Let's do no smoothing. I bet you this is right here, 3-body scatter spike. Let's see. No. That might be though. Right here. You know what I mean? Look, you can see it right there developing. Watch this. Oh, we'll look at without
we
it
should
being
change radars.
smooth. Whoops. This is what I want to do. I want to look at the ZDR. It's going to be negative, guarantee it. Yep. Lots of negative ZDR. Oh my goodness. And then we look at the
-3.
KDP. Yeah, that is just a mess.
Oh yeah, there's definitely a 3-body scatter spike from the Little Rock radar.
Yeah. Yeah, we could switch to the, yeah. Should we switch?
Oh yeah.
We should switch.
Okay,
That's
we'll
much
switch.
closer.
Yeah.
And you can really see the
Yeah, we're gonna
3-body
switch. We'll show you a 3-body scatter spike. It's really cool. A TBSS. Oh, look at that. Okay, so
You unsmooth it.
this is really cool. So a 3-body scatter spike, what it is if you think about this, the longer it takes for the radar information to come back, the farther away it is from the radar, right? So we have the radar energy that's going into the storm. It hits all these hailstones and it takes a little extra long. It takes a little longer, a little extra time for it to come back to the radar. So when it translates that to precipitation, it looks like that precipitation's farther away from the storm. So that's why you see this, what's called 3-body scatter spike. So the radar beam microwaves, speed of light goes, and then bounces back and then comes back. And because it's less of a return, some of that comes back, that is known as a 3-body scatter spike.
And it basically shoots up the top of the hail core, or it points towards the hail core.
Well, it's
Like it's almost like a finger pointing towards the hail.
yeah,
core.
it's pointing towards the hail core, but the radar beam's going out this way, you know, and it's taking a little extra time. So instead of it coming back in like 4 microns, comes back in like 6 or 7 microns, which means it's just a little bit farther. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's how that works.
I will get my laptop and I'll pull up my radar notes.
Della, you're on the
Radar
west
tech
side of the
class.
storm. You're on the west side of the storm. But yeah, that's a 3-body scatter spike. And then let's go back to that volumetric. Guess I keep closing that.
Might have to do that.
Oh, okay. I want to get a little bit bigger so we can get this whole thing, evolution of this.
Oh.
Yeah, that's coming down. Oh, we
Oh,
switched
yeah.
radars. That's why. Yeah. Let's go back here. Get the whole evolution of this.
Stand by.
It glitches when you go far out, but that's okay. I just want to do this. Okay. Here we go. Oh, wow. There it is, though. Forms right there. And then, yeah,
Yeah,
interesting looking.
that's
thing.
dropping. It's not in Eastern Scott County.
No,
Well, I mean, but it's not in Eastern Scott County.
no, that would be
Yeah.
white, you know what, instead of blue, you know what. Anyways, here's a look at yeah, see how it glitches?
Yeah, it's glitching
Man.
out. Yeah.
Man, it's a big storm. Now the radar beam here, let's close that out.
Powerful.
2. And it was bigger on the other one. So I think it's dumped its hail core now. So in between Hector and Smyrna, some really, really big hail. Well, here's what we'll do. That storm's out of here.
I think it's collapsing. The tops have dropped from
Yeah.
40,000, 42,000 down to 36,000.
It
That's unbelievable.
probably has
So
collapsed.
now there's probably about to be a lot of strong storms or strong
Strong
winds.
winds.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's your 80-mile-per-hour winds.
Yeah.
This is a mess. I gotta go through here. Okay, so here's what we've got for the European. And notice the European doesn't even break out storms today. Oh yeah, it does. They had the showers. So there's tonight, nothing. Tomorrow morning, nothing. Tomorrow evening, something.
Especially in the river.
The River Valley is going to have to watch tomorrow evening. Even I think Northwest Arkansas at some point. Late tomorrow night. Saturday morning, should I say Sunday morning, some storms, but I think Sunday is actually looking really nice most of the day until late Sunday night. Then we get those storms that come in
I think there will be actually quite a bit of storm development Sunday afternoon.
here.
I think so.
Yeah, that's
because
possible.
there is a bunch of energy coming in on Sunday. We saw that. Remember on the vorticity map?
That's
Yeah, the Baja
possible.
region.
Yeah.
I think Sunday is actually going to be the day where we have the most widespread shower and storm potential, at least over the next few days.
Yeah. My only concern with that is that a lot of times on the dry lines that far west, the storms develop east of the dry line and they just don't make it until late.
They kind of
Right.
lag behind.
Yeah. And then the cap holds farther east of the dry line. And so those storms
Yeah.
don't pop. But it is possible, like you said, more energy could happen. Monday afternoon, Monday morning into the afternoon, I think we see additional storms. That's going to be a little closer on that energy. And then Tuesday, here comes the system rolling in Tuesday, and still uncertain where it kind of develops. It was kicking it east a little quicker.
I think here's the deal though. If it kicks that east earlier, that means the Monday system's strong.
Yep.
So it's we're still gonna get it out of the way. I think it just has trended a little bit earlier. So maybe our main time frame, guys, is Monday evening.
Yeah.
Yep.
Maybe the case.
Memorial Day weekend. Actually, you looked at this, Josh. I think it's looking pretty nice, isn't it?
I think Memorial Day weekend is looking
The
pretty nice
storms
right
are
now.
coming through now. Now, it's
Yes.
not to say we're done with storms, but
Yeah.
Memorial Day weekend isn't looking bad.
Knock on wood.
All right. So
Right.
last update for those that are wondering about the initial stages for today. Yes, there is a tornado watch. No, it's not going to last until 7 o'clock. It will probably expire a lot sooner. I don't think there's going to be any storms in Northwest Arkansas at all. In fact, you look at the high resolution visible satellite and we've got storms popping east of us, but the dry line and the front is about to move in, and that's going to be the end of it. And here's some upper level energy, but that's after the moisture has already surged eastward.
They gone.
So, in fact, we got the new 1 o'clock updates on the OBS. Let's see what we've got for dew points. So just to show you, here is the tornado watch officially. And it goes until 7, but it's not going to go to 7. This will be expiring a lot sooner just because the frontal boundary comes in. Let's look at the dew points here and see where we're at. What do you think our dew point is in Siloam Springs?
I'm gonna go with 65.
All right. So there's 71, but 64 in Tahlequah and 68. So starting to dry out. Don't look at Springdale. It's ridiculous.
So, we got fog in Springdale. 79
Over
for
79.
79 over 79.
We did see the new day 2 risk, and it puts a slide across the entire weather coverage area.
That's
So
crazy.
that's
There's a
going
ton
to
of
be-
strong, severe thunderstorm warnings in Springfield. So,
Oh, yeah.
just Colby Ward.
Colby Ward.
to
capped
the rescue.
here. But really, honestly, it
Not
took
chasing.
it took a while for that to get north, that warm front. Yes, it did race northward, but we had cloud cover. We were kind of cool, and we weren't warm enough to break the cap.
You could
So,
feel it this morning if you stepped outside at 1:30.
Yep.
It was too cold.
All right, guys. Well, we got to get back to work. You got to go.
I got golf.
Yeah, you got some golf.
I got some
Enjoy the
lessons.
evening, afternoon. The humidity is going to drop. The temperature is going to feel a lot better. in Northwest Arkansas, River Valley. We're not letting our guard down. That's why we're getting some stuff done, because we know that could be under the gun later on today. And then obviously a slew of storm chances all the way through Tuesday of next week. We'll break each one of those down on the newscast tonight.
I've got one more thing.
All right.
Arkansas baseball, if you're watching this right now, let's play some small ball. Let's play in control tonight. And Jimenez, no walks. No walks, my guy. If you don't walk anybody, we'll be good to go. Come on, Section 101's behind you. Ready to rock and roll. Let's get some runs. Come on, Hogs.
And happy Finally Friday, everyone.
Yes.
We'll see you guys later.